It has been a long journey to get to this point, but we are finally here at BB&T Point. The High Point Rockers have made it to the Liberty Division Championship Series. It's been a long journey to get to this point, but we are here. The Rockers struggled a little bit down the stretch to make it into the postseason, but they got the job done when it counted. They got the victory to clinch on game 139 out of 140 of the regular season. They beat the Ducks on Saturday, and they're in. That's what got the Rockers here today. Good evening from BB&T Point. I'm Kendrick Fruits with you for Game 1 of the Liberty Division Championship Series, the best of 5 between your High Point Rockers and the Long Island Ducks. So, here's the thing for the Rockers. They struggled down the stretch. They won 3 of their final 10 games to get here, so kind of struggling when the opportunity to clinch the series was on the line. Talk to manager Jamie Keefe, and we'll let you listen to that conversation here in a moment. But the big thing that Jamie said was everybody is loose, they're excited, and it starts over. It's a clean slate at this point. Everybody has a 0 batting average, ERAs are 0, winning percentage is 0. The High Point Rockers know what they have to do. They know what they're up against, playing arguably the best team in the Atlantic League in 2019. So they know that it's time to focus, it's time to regroup, and it's time to play baseball. We're going to go ahead and send you right over to that interview with Jamie Keefe, and we'll bounce on some of the other topics that he covers in this interview when we come back. So here is our sit-down conversation with Rocker skipper Jamie Keefe. Jamie, before we look ahead, let's go ahead and start with a look back at clinching the playoff spot over the weekend on Saturday, and walk us through your emotions both as that last out was recorded and then the celebration in the locker room, or how special that was.
Oh, it was certainly a special evening, and you know, 138 days or 138 games prior to that, it was a lot of buildup. So, these guys from day one have come out every single day and given this coaching staff and this ownership group everything they have every day, and we can't thank them enough for all the hard work. And it's paid off dividends with the guys that we've had signed, the 8 guys that have moved on to other organizations, but more importantly, the 28 guys, 29 guys that are in that clubhouse right now have an opportunity to come out and play tonight, at least for the next 3 nights, and get an opportunity for playoff baseball, which is something really special for a lot of these guys. There's 10, 12, 15 guys in there that have never played in a playoff game in professional baseball, so this is a special weekend.
So, obviously, everybody looked really loose out there on the field today, and they seemed really excited and amped up, ready to go. But this is a team that kind of struggled down the last stretch of the season, and they're playing arguably the best team in the Atlantic League record-wise for sure. But so how do they kind of reset from the last couple of weeks of struggling to win some ball games and to charge into the playoffs full force?
Well, everybody's hitting 0-0-0, and everybody's record in the playoffs is 0-0, so all that's behind us. The pressure's on them. They're supposed to be the best team in the league, and the best team in the league will win the Atlantic League next week. That's how we're going to know who the best team in the league is. So right now we're 0-0, and we're playing a 5-game series against them with our no backs up against the wall or anything. We're just going to go out, play baseball, have fun, and may the best team win. We really like where we're at. Our pitching staff is in the best shape it's been in all year. Our bullpen's throwing the ball well. Our rotation's throwing the ball well, and offensively we swung the bats really well up in Long Island. So we're feeling good about ourselves. We get out there tonight and see what happens.
Joe Van Meter pitched on Saturday, so originally he was expected to be the starter for Game 1, and John Brownell making the start today. What did that mean as far as having to shift your pitchers around it, and your thoughts on Brownell going tonight?
Brownie, he couldn't be any happier. He's going against his old team. I think that's the reason he wanted to come here more than anything, was to be able to pitch against them. So he's throwing the ball really well down the stretch, and Joey knew that we needed to give him the ball on Saturday night, and he didn't disappoint. He went out and did what Van Meter's done all year, and that is compete at the highest level all season long. We were able to score some runs behind him and get him a W.
All right, last question for you. What did the Rock
an opportunity to win and a
series against the Ducks?
The team that makes the least mistakes in this series will win. If we play clean defense, and we make them make the mistakes and put the pressure on them to score runs, we're going to win. We like where our pitching's at. We know we trust in our defense, and we know our defense is going to play well. If we swing the bats and continue to put pressure on them, we'll get to their starters, we'll get to their bullpen, and we'll win the series.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
You got it. Thank you.
That was Rocker skipper Jamie Keefe with his thoughts going into this series. And again, one of the things that he mentioned that I want to harp on is the fact that he said that everybody's starting over. It's a clean slate for everybody this evening. So when you look at the Rockers, you look a little bit at what happened down the stretch. A team that lost 7 of their last 10 games, kind of stumbled into the playoffs, if you will. But he'd made the comment in the interview, Jamie did, that the bullpen had been throwing well and the pitching had been going well. And 100% can agree with that. The issue with the Rockers, it seemed, take out Saturday's clinching win, which of course was a huge win for the team and absolutely put them in good position. But the thing that the Rockers are going to need to focus on revamping a little bit is the offense. This is a team that hit 253 during the course of the 2019 regular season, but in the month of September, they hit 225. Bats kind of went cold in the final month, and a lot of times the pitchers were kind of left struggling and given really short leads or 1-0 leads or giving up a run, and all of a sudden the team couldn't score, and that's kind of where they were sitting. So the Rockers need a little bit more production from the offense tonight. The pitching, if they do what they've been doing through the course of the season, really, from start to finish, pitching is going to be just fine. And this is a team where we know that they have the offensive capabilities to score a lot of runs. And you know, if you look at guys in this lineup, Gomez, Lattimore, Schaefer, Cardullo, really everybody top to bottom can produce and can have meaningful at-bats in this game, but the Rockers need to put it all together for a full game, and that's what they're going to be tasked with doing against Darren Downs today. So when we last were talking with you guys last week, we finished up that home series against the Somerset Patriots. Frank Viola in the podcast last week said that Joe Van Meter was going to be the starter for Game 1 tonight. But the way that things went, the Rockers, again, struggling to clinch that playoff spot last week, they needed Joe Van Meter to go on Saturday in the clinching game. Joe pitched a fantastic game, but obviously he was not ready to go for tonight. So John Brownell will be making the opening start for the Rockers today, but that's a guy, you couldn't ask for a better guy to make the start, a guy who, if you need somebody to fill in for Joe Van Meter like he's doing tonight, John Brownell is the guy to do it. He's the second winningest pitcher in the history of the Atlantic League. He's the all-time Atlantic League strikeout king. And so, you know, this is a guy who the Rockers feel very confident they're giving the baseball to and saying, hey, we want you to come out here and make a statement. And he's done that in his 3 starts for the Rockers this year. 2-0, a 1.31 earned run average through the course of his 3 starts in the regular season. Before that, pitched with Lincoln in the American Association, went 8-5 there with a 3.70 earned run average. So John Brownell picked up 10 wins combined this year between the 2 leagues. This is his 9th time in 14 seasons that he has reached the double-digit victory mark. So John Brownell makes the start today. Darren Downs will be making the start for the Long Island Ducks. In the course of the regular season, the Ducks won the last series against them 2 out of 3. Of course, the final series of the year for both of those teams. But the Rockers took the season series as a whole 11 wins to 8. So the Rockers have had some success against the Ducks. This has been a pretty tightly contested series, and I expect a lot more of the same as we go into this Liberty Division Championship Series. A little bit of history with the Long Island Ducks. They're a team that is no stranger to the postseason. They're 3-time Atlantic League champions. Their last championship came in 2013, but they've made 3 consecutive appearances in the championship series in the last 3 years. Although, again, they fell short just the last few times. John Brownell, though, is a guy who pitched for the Long Island Ducks for parts of the last 7 years. And if you if you look back at the numbers that he put up in the postseason, especially back in 2013, John Brownell was named the Atlantic League Championship Series Most Valuable Player. So he has not only postseason success, but championship success, a championship pedigree. And the Rockers really have a couple of guys on this team who have that. I spoke with Jared Mitchell a couple of weeks ago on one of the pregame interviews, and Jared said that he's a guy who has been fortunate enough to play in a couple of championship games. And so, the Rockers have guys on this roster who have experience, who can, share some of that with the younger guys. And so the youth in this team and the veteran leadership of this team looks like it is fusing together very nicely as the Rockers get set for a big game one here at home against the Long Island Ducks. We'll go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups today. Ray Fuentes for the Ducks will lead off. He's the center fielder. Batting in the number 2 spot, Steve Lombardozzi, the second baseman, son of former Major League infielder Steve Lombardozzi. The younger Lombardozzi also has Major League experience, spent some time with the Washington Nationals. Lou Ford, designated hitter, a Major Leaguer, spent a lot of time with the Minnesota Twins. He's batting in the number 3 spot, the designated hitter again. L.J. Mazzilli in left field will bat cleanup. Hector Sanchez, the catcher, will bat in the number 5 spot. Debinson Romero at third base will bat 6th. David Washington at first base will hit 7th. Vladimir Frias, the shortstop, hits 8th. And Darby Myers, the right fielder, will bat 9th. For the Rockers, Stephen Cardullo will play first base. He'll lead off tonight. Michael Russell, the second baseman, will bat in the number 2 spot. Hector Gomez, the third baseman, will bat third. And the cleanup hitter, Quincy Lattimore, the designated hitter. Richie Schaefer in left field will bat in the number 5 hole. Jared Mitchell, right field, will hit 6th. Miles Schroeder gets the start in center field. He will bat 7th. John Nestor, the catcher, will bat 8th. And batting 9th, Giovanni Alfonso, the Rockers shortstop. Look at some of the league leaders in the Atlantic League this year, and really you got to tip your cap to some of these guys who had fantastic campaigns. And, we talk about Richie Schaefer. I think that's the first one that stood out to me, was the fact that Schaefer has finished the year sitting at second in the home run chart. We do want to mention, obviously, as we talk about the home run leaders and league leaders, Telvin Nash, what a season he had. Ended up with 41 home runs and 100 RBIs for the York Revolution. But Richie Schaefer, finished second with 27 home runs. And Quincy Lattimore finished tied in 9th. Stephen Cardullo 6th with 22. Other High Point Rockers that finished the regular season on the league leader charts. Hector Gomez tied for 7th in RBIs with 76. Also looking ahead, one that stood out to me, Stephen Cardullo, the leadoff man. You talk about wanting to get your leadoff guy on base and get innings going. Cardullo 8th in the league in on-base percentage, 3rd in the league in extra base hits in 2019 with 61. So a guy was very productive from the top of the order for the Rockers. In terms of walks, Stephen Cardullo 5th in the league in walks, so able to draw bases on balls even without putting the ball in play. Stolen bases, well, Jared Mitchell tied for 7th in the league with 32 steals in 2019. He got a lot of those with the Sugar Land Skeeters, but he provided a lot of speed for the Rockers once they acquired him near the end of July. Michael Russell, too, a guy you got to give a shout-out to, didn't make the top 10, but he stole 21 bases this year, 19 of them coming post-All-Star break. The Rockers incorporated speed and base stealing a lot in the second half as they stole 95 bases for a success rate of 78.5%. So this is a team that started to run and put pressure on pitchers and catchers as the new league rules were put in place post-All-Star break, and the Rockers opened up the offensive playbook, if you will, a little bit in the second half. John Brownell, as we mentioned, the all-time strikeout king in the Atlantic League, 776 strikeouts. He's in the bullpen right now with pitching coach Frank Viola as he's going over the final preparations for this game. 36 years of age, and he's making the start tonight for the Rockers. Brownell, 6'3", 215-pound right-hander from Mitchell, South Dakota. Was drafted twice by Major League Baseball clubs. The Colorado Rockies selected him 47th round of the 2002 Major League Baseball draft from Butler County Community College in Kansas. The Philadelphia Phillies grabbed him in the 27th round of the 2006 draft from the University of Oklahoma. Spent some time in 2006 in the Philadelphia Phillies organization, but has been pitching an independent ball since then, starting in 2007. Fans filing into BB&T Point for what should be an exciting series. How about this? A little bit of history for the High Point Rockers. Not only making the playoffs in the inaugural season, which is fantastic as is, but get this as well. They are the first expansion team in Atlantic League history to make the playoffs in their first season. Atlantic League, of course, has been around over 20 years, and the High Point Rockers making history with today's playoff game, with today's or their berth into the Atlantic League playoffs in 2019. The starting lineups are being introduced down there on the field, so we will head down and listen as the starting lineups and both teams being announced for the 2019 Liberty Division Championship Series. We're heading down to the field now.
The hitting coach is Lou Ford, and the pitching coach is number 19, Rick Tomlin. The trainer is Donnie Pitchford. The clubhouse manager is Emil Kokaro. And the assistant clubhouse manager is Evan Giller. The clubhouse assistant is Sean Hines. And now the reserves for Long Island. Number 25, DeLeon Anderson. Number 9, John Apostolo. Number 47, Brandon Beachy. Number 22, Ismael Cabrera. Number 38, Ramon Cabrera. Number 45, Felix Carvalho. Number 26, Mario Checo. Number 33, Brendan Feldman. Number 29, Daniel Field. Number 46, Clint Freeman. Number 57, Nick Garland. Number 5, Joe Iorio. Number 28, Brian Mattis. Number 34, Vin Mazzaro. Number 18, Cody Mincy. Number 27, Rob Rogers. Number 13, Brandon Sherman. Number 31, Seth Simmons. And number 17, Miles Smith. And now the starting lineup for the Dubs. Leading off, center fielder, number 15, Ray Fuentes. Batting second, second baseman, number 2, Steve Lombardozzi. Batting third, the DH, number 20, Lou Ford. Batting cleanup, left fielder, number 11, LJ Mazzilli. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 37, Hector Sanchez. Batting sixth, third baseman, number 21, Devinson Romero. In the seventh spot, first baseman, number 30, David Washington. Batting eighth is the shortstop, number 1, Vladimir Frias. Batting ninth, right fielder, number 14, Darby Myers. And on the mound for Long Island, number 23, Darren Dow. Ladies and gentlemen, your Long Island Dubs. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the lineups for your High Point Rockers. Managed by number 26, Jamie Key. The pitching coach is number 16, Frank Viola. The bench coach is number 5, Billy Ford. The bullpen coach is number 18, Albert Gonzalez. The team doctor is Dr. Jordan Case. The athletic trainer is Zach Schnur. The clubhouse manager is Gary Gerosi. And the away clubhouse manager is Kevin Pearman. The reserves for High Point, number 36, Edwin Carr. Number 14, Brian Clark. Number 15, Trevor Frank. Number 44, Kyle Halbo. Number 39, Kyle Hansen. Number 32, Chase Hutchinson. Number 13, Lucas Irvine. Number 24, Dusty Isaac. Number 12, Matt Jones. Number 20, Ryan Kelly. Number 9, Tyler Ladendorf. Number 2, Frank Nigro. Number 23, Chris Pennell. Number 3, Vio Sergi Rosa. Number 40, Sam Rania. Number 27, Matt Sergey. And number 48, Craig Stiff. And number 34, Joe Van Meter. And fans, get on your feet. The starting lineup for your High Point Rockers. Leading off, first baseman, number 65, Stephen Cardulo. Batting second, second baseman, number 4, Michael Russell. Batting third, third baseman, number 6, Hector Gomez. Batting cleanup, the DH, number 22, Quincy Lattimore. Batting fifth, left fielder, number 8, Richie Schaefer. Batting sixth, right fielder, number 29, Jared Mitchell. In the seventh spot, center fielder, number 11, Miles Schroeder. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 33, John Nestor. Batting ninth is the shortstop, number 1, Giovanni Alfonso. And on the mound for High Point is number 7, John Brownell. Ladies and gentlemen, your High Point Rockers.
Well, the teams have been announced and introduced here at BB&T Point, and they announced all the players in the bullpen and on the bench, as well as the starting lineups. And some of the biggest rounds of applause that they got were from Tyler Ladendorf and for Hector Gomez, some fan favorites here at BB&T Point. Fans are rising for the national anthem, so we'll step aside one more time. When we come back, we'll take a look at the lineups again, pitching matchups, and we'll have playoff baseball here at BB&T Point.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. All the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Rockers fans, let's hear it for Reverend Frank Thomas.
A great rendition of the national anthem here at BB&T Point, and fans are excited. The stage is set. We're getting ready for baseball, playoff baseball here at BB&T Point in High Point. And I tell you what, the fans are excited. I was down on the field for batting practice this morning. The players are excited, and my goodness, I'm excited too. And I'm excited that you guys are joining us tonight on YouTube and Spreaker as we get set for a new adventure, the new chapter in the inaugural season of the High Point Rockers. It is playoff time here at BB&T Point. So again, we'll set the lineup for the Ducks one more time. Ray Fuentes leading off, Lombardozzi second, Lou Ford third, LJ Mazzilli fourth, Hector Sanchez fifth, Debinson Romero will bat sixth, David Washington seventh, Vladimir Frias eighth, and Darby Myers will hit ninth. Ceremonial first pitch being thrown out right now. So the league has been cut in half as we made it to playoffs. Rockers and Ducks on the other side, the Freedom Division Championship Series, the Sugarland Skeeters and the York Revolution. That game starting at 7:35 tonight, so we'll just catch the beginning half of that before we conclude. The Rockers have set their rotation through the entirety of this series. Brownell will pitch tonight. Craig Stem will throw tomorrow. Joe Van Meter will pitch the first game in Long Island. That's going to be on Friday following a travel day Thursday. Matt Sergey will pitch Saturday, and then we'll go back around to John Brownell on Sunday. Brownell, we mentioned 2-0 on the years. Lineups are being exchanged by Wally Backman and Rockers manager Jamie Keefe at home plate as they're meeting with the home plate umpires, or the umpires for tonight's game. Lindy Hall behind the plate. Silvio Martinez will be the first base umpire. Thomas Newsom will be at second. And down the third base line is Bill Worthington. We only have the three starters for the first three games for the Long Island Ducks, but a familiar face will be pitching in Game 3. Seth Simmons, who started the year with the High Point Rockers, will be facing his old squad on Friday. John Brownell, he spent part of 8 seasons, the last 8 years, in the Atlantic League, bouncing between here and other foreign leagues, and this is his first of those 8 seasons where he has not played for the Long Island Ducks. So in a way, he's playing his former team today. Obviously, a lot of lineup changes in the Atlantic League, roster changes from one year to another, so maybe not the exact same team, but it's the same uniform, the same colors for John Brownell and the team that he pitched to helped win that 2013 Atlantic League Championship. He's now trying to keep them from doing so tonight. Brownell 2-0 on the year for the Rockers, 1.31 earned run average in 3 starts. He went 20 innings with 15 strikeouts, 7 walks, did not allow a home run, and opponents hit just .203 off of him. Crazy train being played here as the fans are excited. You saw I see the Thunder Sticks out there that a lot of the guys they gave away near the end of the year. I think it might have been the last promotion or next to last. It was in that last weekend against the Somerset Patriots. So that was one of those last promotions that they did, and fans brought them back here tonight. A lot of people walking the concourse right now. The sections behind the plate really filling up. as it is 6:45, and we are waiting for the Rockers to take the field. Both pitchers coming in from the respective bullpens. And we are about ready to go. And the Rockers are taking the field for the first time in franchise history. The Rockers are on the field for a postseason game. Finished the regular season with a 74-66 record. The Ducks, of course, the best team in the league at 85-55. We'll set the Rockers defensively here for you. Left to right in the outfield first. Richie Schaefer's in right field tonight. And center field is Miles Schroeder, and right field is Jared Mitchell. At third base is Hector Gomez, Giovanni Alfonso, the shortstop. Michael Russell at second base, and Steven Gardulo at first. John Nestor behind the dish, and John Brownell on the mound. If you're wondering, hey, where's Tyler Ladendorf? I talked to Jamie Keefe before the game, and Ladendorf, a minor injury suffered at home a few days ago. Actually, it was yesterday, I believe it was. So he's going to need a day or so. But Jamie Keefe said that he will be potentially available to pinch hit tonight, but should be good to go, we would assume, probably by Game 3 by the time the series heads to Long Island. So no Tyler Ladendorf tonight, but Michael Russell, who's playing second base tonight, is a guy who can get it done against the Long Island Ducks. In fact, Michael Russell against the Ducks this year hitting .436, which led the team with a home run and 9 runs batted in. Other Rockers who had good luck offensively against the Ducks, Hector Gomez hit .294 with a couple home runs and 14 driven in. Jared Mitchell hit .308, and Steven Cardulo and Vio Sergi Rosa both 3 home runs. This Long Island Ducks team, one that has a lot of offensive firepower. Their 5th consecutive postseason berth, the 14th in franchise history, all coming in the last 16 years. The Long Island Ducks, kind of the New York Yankees of the Atlantic League. And so the Rockers certainly will have their work cut out for them as this game goes. So Ray Fuentes steps in. Brownell deals. First pitch is a strike, and playoff baseball is underway at BB&T Point. Fuentes hit .258 this year, 14 home runs, 47 driven in. And Brownell deals. This one a check swing. They're going to see if he went. They're going to say he did. Strike 2, so 0-2 to the leadoff man, Fuentes. Energy level is high here tonight, and we'll see if Brownell is able to corral it early. A lot of these players probably nervous. Brownell, though, a guy who has got some postseason experience. Expect him to maybe be on the calmer side. He kicks and deals. Here's the off-speed pitch. That's fouled. A shot into the Rockers' dugout. Everything looks okay in there. And so the count remains 0-2. Game time temperature is 81 degrees. It'll drop into the low 70s by the time we are through tonight. Here's the 0-2, and that's up and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Brownell deals the 1-2, just missing off the lower and inside part of the plate. And the count now even at 2-2. Brownell, the righty, works third base side. Off-speed pitch grounded hard and foul down the first base side. And the count stays 2-2. Rockers wearing the road blues, the white pants, the red lettering with yellow trim across the front with yellow numbers and red trim on the back. Long Island Ducks wearing the road gray pants, black uniforms with red, orange lettering and numbering. The 2-2, strike 3, looking at the knees. And John Brownell sends down Ray Fuentes. And we are underway.
Now batting Second baseman, number 2, Steve Lombardozzi.
That'll bring up Steve Lombardozzi, his father, a former utility infielder, mostly with the Minnesota Twins. Lombardozzi, a little bit of Major League experience as well, takes a strike. The count is 0-1. He's a .262 hitter, 2 home runs, 33 driven in. And here's the 0-1 from Brownell. This one is lined into left center field. That's a base hit. Giovanni Alfonso was playing Lombardozzi to pull, and he did not do so. Going the other way, so that's a 1-out single for Lombardozzi. And the Long Island Ducks have a man aboard at the top of the first inning. Entire field covered in shadow. The fact that this game started a little late due to all the pregame festivities allowed some of the shadows to move out of the way as the sun is shining up on the center field wall in the batter's eye there, but really looks like Miles Schroeder will be in pretty good shape out there. Here's Lou Ford, 303 hitter, 4 home runs, 35 driven in. He was also the hitting coach for the Ducks this year. Takes ball 1 down low. The ageless wonder, if you will. Lou Ford was on the Minnesota Twins in the early 2000s. I think 2003, his rookie season. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Ford. He swings, chops this one on the ground to Russell. Could be 2. Goes to Alfonso at second for 1. The relay to first in time. That's a double play. And John Brownell faces the minimum in the first inning. The base hit is erased on the double play. We go to the bottom of the first inning. This is High Point Rockers playoff baseball. No score.
This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Your Life Matters, where we talk about dreaming big and dreaming bold to reach your wildest dreams in both your health and your happiness. A new show comes out every single Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Your Life Matters. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Bryce Burge, host of Your Soccer Passport here on Public House Media. After this episode, come join us on a trip around the soccer world as we discuss club and country every Tuesday. Stamp your soccer passport by subscribing on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your Public House Media podcasts. And thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Darren Downs making the start for the Long Island Ducks today. Downs 3-3, 2.63 earned run average in 21 appearances, all starts. 104 innings for him this year, 140 strikeouts against just 35 walks. Darren Downs, a guy who's just been fantastic through the course of the year. 3 times picked up double-digit strikeouts, the most recently coming on September 13th against the Blue Crabs with 10 strikeouts in that one. Drafted by the Cubs in the 5th round of the 2003 draft. And spent some time in the major leagues. He's been part of back-to-back championship teams, the Chinese Professional League in 2017, and then the Mexican League last year. So he's had a fantastic year for the Long Island Ducks, and he's tabbed for the Game 1 start, a left-handed pitcher. The Rockers lineup is as follows. Again, Cardullo leads off, Russell bats second, Gomez third, Lattimore fourth, Schaefer fifth, Jared Mitchell 6th, Miles Schroeder 7th, John Nestor 8th, and Giovanni Alfonso 9th. First pitch to Steven Cardullo. That's down low, ball 1. Cardullo finished the year .266 hitter, 22 home runs, 70 batted in, spent most of the year as the leadoff hitter, and what a productive one he was. 3rd in the league in extra base hits in 2019. He swings and fouls this one back over the screen, and the count is 1-1. Rockers taking their first postseason swings in club history. Will we see something historic tonight? We already have with a bunch of firsts as that pitch down low Count 2-1. Love to see the first win in postseason history tonight. They're already the first expansion team in the history of the Atlantic League to make the playoffs in their inaugural season. Here's the 2-1 to Cardulo. Downs, kicks, and deals. Cardulo swings, fouls this one up out of play behind the plate, and the count even at 2. Second baseman Michael Russell waits on deck. If you're just joining us, hello and welcome to BB&T Point, first round of the Atlantic League playoffs. As Cardulo fouls this one off, this is game 1 between the Rockers and the Ducks in a best of 5. Rockers had the edge through the course of the regular season, 11 wins to 8 over the Long Island Ducks. Downs works the third base side of the rubber, and the left-hander kicks and deals the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Cardulo. And there is one away for Michael Russell. Russell finished the year, he struggled a little bit in September, finished the year at 287, 4 home runs, 26 RBIs. But a number I gave earlier in the game, I can't remember if it was in the pregame show or in the first inning, but Michael Russell feasts on Duck pitching, hitting .436, which far and away led the High Point Rockers as far as best batting average against the Long Island Ducks. Here's the first pitch to Russell, and that is a strike around the knees, and the count is 0-1. Downs deals the 0-1. That's up and in, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike to Michael Russell. Ducks finished the year with identical 43-27 records in the front and back half of the season. Russell hits this one on the ground to short. Frias scoops it up behind second to throw on to first in time to retire Michael Russell. That's 2 away. Let's go ahead and introduce you to the defensive alignment for the Long Island Ducks. In left field, it's L.J. Mazzilli, Ray Fuentes in center field. Darby Myers is in right. Third to first around the infield, Debinson Romero at third, Vladimir Frias at short. Keystone corner, second base, Steve Lombardozzi. First base is David Washington. And behind the plate, the 2-time World Series champion, Hector Sanchez. Won 2 championships with the San Francisco Giants. First pitch to Hector Gomez, that's down and in, ball 1. For a Tuesday, very nice crowd here at BB&T Point, but obviously this isn't your regular Tuesday ball game as this pitch is down and in 2-0 to Hector Gomez. Here's the 2-0 pitch. He swings and misses. And the count 2-1. Rockers looking for their first hit. We are just in the bottom of the first inning, however. And Downs comes set. Here's the 2-1 to Gomez. That's inside. 3-1. Gomez, not a shabby hitter against the Long Island Ducks either. .294 with a couple home runs, 14 driven in. He was on the top 10 leaderboard, 7th in RBIs, 76 of them this year, .291 hitter. And here's the 3-1. That's a called strike at the knees, and the count goes full. Quincy Lattimore, the cleanup hitter, waits on deck. And Downs will come set. Here is the 3-2. That's inside, ball 4, and the Rockers have their first base runner. The crowd gives him a nice hand as he heads down to first, and here comes Quincy Lattimore. .264 hitter this year, 21 home runs, 72 runs batted in. Lights are already on as the sun is setting. There's nice orange tint off of the buildings behind the outfield. Lattimore swings, lines this one into left field. It'll get down, base hit. So the Rockers getting something going with 2 outs in the first inning, and that'll bring up Richie Schaefer.
Left fielder, number 8, Richie Schaefer.
First pitch to Richie Schaefer. That's down low for a ball. Gomez on second. Lattimore at first. Richie Schaefer, 235, 27 home runs, 72 driven in. Big swing and a miss in the count, 1-1. Finished second in the Atlantic League in home runs with 27. Here's the 1-1. Schaefer takes, and it's just inside. Ball 2. And I tell you what, those close ones are going to be huge because all of a sudden you have a 2-1 count, put you in a hitter's count if you're Richie Schaefer and looking for downs to put something over the plate. We should mention Quincy Lattimore, that base hit. So Lattimore has the first base hit in Rocker postseason history. So congratulations, Quincy Lattimore. Here's the 2-1. That's down low, ball 3. Rockers putting some pressure on Darren Downs in the bottom of the first. Something that Jamie Keefe said in the pregame interview is, hey, the Ducks finished the year the best record in the league. They've been one of the best teams in the league really since in the last 15 years, as they've made the postseason 14 times in those 16 seasons. So we said, they're the best team in the league, so we put the pressure on them. Here's the 3-1. Schaefer, a big swing, fouls this one off, and the count goes full. So the Rockers probably know they're underdogs right now, and we'll see how they play, if they can use that to their advantage, shall we say. Two on, 2 out, and a full count to Richie Schaefer. Downs comes set. Just below the chest, runners go. Here's the pitch. That is up high, ball 4, and the bases are loaded in the first inning for Jared Mitchell. Two walks and a single for the Rockers, and they're in business. Big thing for High Point would be to score early, and they have an opportunity to do it, albeit with 2 outs in the first. You got to be careful with this team with the bases loaded. The Rockers hit .398, 7 home runs, 127 RBIs with the bases loaded this year. In fact, they hit another grand slam over the weekend. I can't remember who it was now. Might have been, I want to say it was Matt Jones. I'll double check that here in a little bit. Here's the first pitch to Mitchell, and that is a strike in the count, 0-1. Point being, though, with the Rockers, they are the league's most dangerous team with the bases loaded. It's not even close. If you look at some of the other teams in those 3 categories, average home runs and RBIs, Rockers far and away the most dominant team in the league with the bases loaded. Here's the 0-1 to Mitchell. He swings and fouls this one straight back to the screen, and the count 0-2. Big opportunity for High Point in the first inning. Hector Gomez, the runner at third. Quincy Lattimore, the runner at second. Schaefer taking his lead off of first. Darren Downs takes a long look in. Now comes set, third base side of the rubber. He kicks and deals. Here's the 0-2. Mitchell swings and fouls this one off, and the count stays at 0-2. Jared Mitchell, a midseason acquisition from the Sugar Land Skeeters, finished the year .246 average, 12 home runs, 49 batted in, and finished the year with 32 steals. a guy who certainly can beat you in a lot of different ways, is going to have to protect the plate with the count 0-2. Here is that 0-2. Just gets a piece of it. He stays alive, and the count will remain at 0-2. Rockers coming off a difficult road trip, one in which they won only one of their final 6 games. They split their previous homestand 3 out of 6 before that. Here's the pitch, and this one gets away from Sanchez. Everybody's going, and the run scores. They're going to say that, well, I don't know now. Hang on a second. I think they're going to say foul ball. No. They're going to say that he went around for strike 3. Jared Mitchell thought he held up. Jamie Keefe's not happy. Jared Mitchell's not happy. I think somebody needs an explanation. Mitchell, he doesn't think went around. Hector Gomez crossed the plate as the pitch bounced. I think they're going to get an explanation here. Anyways, we will step aside as the Rockers loaded the bases but do not score, and we will go to the top of the second. This is High Point Rockers Baseball.
This is Liz Colburn, host of the Morning Uplift here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back and check out my show, The Morning Uplift, where we talk about finding your beauty in the journey. A new show comes out twice a month on the first and third Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Morning Uplift. Thank you again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
What do we think the correct answer is? Think about this one.
This is John Lauder, host of The Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, The Cheap Seats, where we talk about sports from the fans' perspective. A new show comes out every Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Cheap Seats. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Top of the second inning, no score at BB&T Point as the Rockers loaded the bases in the first but could not bring anybody in. I think it's safe to say, though, they certainly put a little pressure on the Ducks, and if the Rockers don't win this game, I think you point to the first inning as a missed opportunity. But for right now, you can at least say that the Ducks and Darren Downs on their heels a little bit in the first. We'll see if they can keep things going. They being the Rockers, of course, in the second inning. But first, it's back to John Brownell as he will face LJ Mazzilli, a .293 hitter this year. 13 home runs, 74 batted in. And the first pitch to Mazzilli just missing ball 1. LJ Mazzilli's father, a former big league manager with the Baltimore Orioles, an infielder for the Mets in the 80s, made an all-star game as he hits this one on a hop to Michael Russell at second. And the throw on to first in time, 1 away. That will bring up Hector Sanchez, the 2-time World Series champion with the San Francisco Giants. 1 rings in 2010 against the Texas Rangers and 2012 against the Detroit Tigers. Sanchez actually appeared in games in 2010, but did not play in 2012. Here's the first pitch to him from Brownell. That's a called strike. Sanchez, .273 batting average, 9 home runs, 58 batted in. And here is the 0-1. That's down and in, and the count is 1-1. Brownell faced the minimum in the first inning. There was a base hit, but he was retired on a double play. And here's the 1-1. Swings and misses. And the count 1-2. Looked at first like he might have gotten a piece of it, but he did not, and the count 1-2. Debinson Romero, the third baseman, waits on deck. Rockers playing Sanchez to pulls. There's a big gap down the third baseline. Here's the 1-2, and that's going to stay just away. Counts even at 2. Brownell, a very quick first inning, got out of it about 11 pitches or so. And here is the 2-2. Nope, first time is called by Hector Sanchez from Pembroke Pines, Florida. So through the first frame, 1 hit apiece. The Rockers did load the bases, though, a couple of walks. Here's the curveball on 2-2, and that's going to stay up. Count goes full to the Ducks backstop. The brightness of the setting sun starting to give way to a couple of pinks and blue and purple hues across the sky. You see some clouds in the very distant down the left field side as that pitch fouled off. A beautiful, pleasant evening here at BB&T Point. Temperatures again will be in the 70s through the majority of this ball game. If they're not there already, they will be soon. Here's the 3-2 to Sanchez, and that is just below the knees, ball 4. And a 1-out walk will bring up Debinson Romero.
Third baseman, number 21, Debinson Romero.
Romero, a .267 hitter, 14 home runs, 58 driven in through the course of the regular season. Sanchez takes his lead off of first base. And here's the pitch. Breaking ball just missing. Must have been just away, and the count is 1-0. Brownell comes set third base side, and here's the 1-0 pitch. This one is lined. What a leaping catch by Giovanni Alfonso. The throw to first. Cardullo stretches. He keeps his foot on the bag. That is a Rocker double play. What a play by the Rockers. Giovanni Alfonso. Holy cow. And a great stretch by Steven Cardullo. Rockers turn their second double play of the ball game, and they go to the bottom half of inning number 2. We're tied. No score. This is High Point Rockers playoff baseball.
Hi, this is Peggy Rojas, host of Viviendo una Vida en Balance here at Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you can come back and check my show, Viviendo una Vida en Balance, where we talk about life hacks to live a life in balance. And the show's in Spanish. A new show comes out every Monday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and share with your friends. Again, thank you for checking out the following broadcast in Public House Media.
This is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten here on Public House Media. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Rewritten, where we will talk about you having limitless potential and can rewrite your story at any time. No matter your background, your past, or current situation, you can have the type of life you crave. A new show comes out every single Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Rewritten. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Bottom of the second inning, and if there was any doubt of whether the Rockers lost any momentum after leaving the bases loaded, I think this answers it. Taking a look at the North State replay, a line drive to Giovanni Alfonso, and Alfonso's not the tallest guy in the field. I thought that was going to just get over him, but a fantastic catch. And how about Steven Cardullo on the other end? This throw was up towards the Rockers bullpen in right field, but Cardullo keeps his foot on the bag, and the Rockers turn 2. What a fantastic defensive play. We'll see if they can translate it and keep the momentum going offensively in the second. It'll be the bottom 3 in the lineup for the for the Rockers. Schroeder, Nestor, and Alfonso.
Leading off for your High Point Rocker, center fielder, number 11, Miles Schroeder.
Miles Schroeder, the jack of all trades for the Rockers, a guy who played a lot of different positions and even came in to pitch one time. Schroeder, a .235 hitter, 8 home runs, 45 driven in the first pitch from Downs. Schroeder swings, pops this one a mile high, but not very deep into right field. Racing in and making the catch is the right fielder, Darby Myers, for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up John Nestor, the catcher, 154 hitter, a home run, 5 driven in. Nestor, a guy who joined the Rockers just a few weeks ago, but the amount of power in his bat is absolutely tremendous. Downs will deal first pitch to Nestor, showed bunt, pulled back. It's a called strike, and the count 0-1. Nestor spent the majority of the year with the Cleburne Railroaders in the American Association, hit 16 home runs for Cleburne. Here's the 0-1, a curveball. That just misses down and away, and the count 1-1. Bottom of the second, no score. Rockers Ducks game 1 of the Liberty Division Championship Series, and the 1-1 pitch is up high to Nestor, 2-1. And here's the 2-1. Nestor swings, fouls this one off down the right field side, and the count even at 2. Giovanni Alfonso, who made that incredible catch to end the top half of this inning, waits on deck. Downs already up at 30 pitches. Here's the 2-2. Nestor swings and just gets a piece of it, and the count will remain at 2-2. Downs working quickly, gets the sign from Sanchez. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, got him to chase one down. And that is out number 2. Third strikeout already for Darren Downs, and that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Giovanni Alfonso.
Number 1, Giovanni Alfonso.
Alfonso, you can't say enough about the way that he really came around offensively in the second half of the year. Was hitting .206 just past the All-Star break. Finished the year with a .248 average. No home runs, but 30 driven in, and very reliable from the bottom of the lineup. Takes a called strike. Should Alfonso reach base, the Rockers will go back around to the top of the lineup. Swings, loses the bat. That one was fouled off. And the count 0-2. That bat looks like it dropped into the Long Island dugout, and Alfonso is asking for that bat back, and he gets it, and sharing a laugh with some of the players in the Ducks dugout area. Just going to reapply a little grip here to the bat, and then we'll be ready to go. So the count 0-2. Defense playing Alfonso pretty much straight away. And Darren Downs comes set. Here's the 0-2 to Giovanni Alfonso, showing bunt and pushes it right past Downs. It's going to be a tough play over there at second. Alfonso slides safe. Giovanni Alfonso, a head-first slide, and he beats the throw from the second baseman, Lombardozzi. A great push bunt just past the mound. Downs couldn't get to it. Lombardozzi thought that he had Giovanni Alfonso, and he is irate with the first base umpire, Silvio Martinez. But Alfonso called safe, and it's a 2-out infield bunt single, and the Rockers go back around to the top of the lineup. That's what Giovanni Alfonso can do for this team. He's a spark plug in the bottom of the lineup. He provides excitement, and he gives the Rockers a base runner in the second inning. Looks like Darren Downs is fixing his belt right now, so we'll hold off just for a moment. Cardulo struck out his first at-bat. Wind relatively calm. It is blowing out towards right field, but not anything wild and crazy. We've had a couple of wild and crazy weather evenings here over the course of the summer, but it's been a fantastic summer of inaugural season baseball at BB&T Point, and we're hoping that as the summer temperatures apparently linger as we're gone into the first days of fall now, but it still feels like summer, and hoping the Rockers keep some of those magical summer moments alive for the next couple of weeks as Cardulo swings and misses strike one to begin his at-bat. Rockers, I believe, used Richie Schaefer out of the bullpen the other day. Took the loss in that game, but helped keep some of the bullpen arms fresh, and of course had yesterday off. This one down below the knees at the count 1-1. So the bullpen should be relatively fresh and good to go. Rockers carrying 13 pitchers and 12 position players into the first round. Here's the 1-1 to Steven Cardulo. Downs holds the set, runner goes. Here's the 1-1. Chopped on the ground, weakly over to Frias at short. Picks it up, the throw to first base in time to retire Steven Cardulo, and that's the final out of the inning. We go to the top of inning number 3. Rockers with not able to score. We go to the top of the third, and we are still scoreless at BB&T Point. This is High Point Rockers Playoff Baseball.
This is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten here on Public House Media. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Rewritten, where we will talk about you having limitless potential and can rewrite your story at any time. No matter your background, your past, or current situation, you can have the type of life you crave. A new show comes out every single Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Rewritten. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
What's up, everybody? This is Christian Heimel, host of Press Row here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Press Row, where we talk about the biggest issues in sports with the analysts, experts, and reporters who cover them. No nonsense, hard-hitting interviews on the sports topics you're talking about. A new show comes out every single Thursday. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Press Row. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Top of the third, but the bottom of the lineup for the Long Island Ducks in a scoreless game. Long Island and High Point Game 1 of the Liberty Division Championship Series. Ducks have picked up a base runner in both innings, but thanks to 2 double plays, Brownell has faced the minimum of 6 hitters through the first 2. Giovanni Alfonso, again, got to hang a star next to that one. The fantastic double play that he and Cardulo made. You got to give credit to Cardulo, too. Not the throw a little bit up the line towards right field, but Cardulo made a fantastic stretch to keep his foot on the bag. And so Brownell will face the bottom of the lineup, David Washington, Vladimir Frias, and Darby Myers. Washington, 237 hitter, and he hits the first one into left field. It is curling towards the line. Schaefer's got room. Lost it in the lights, and it bounces. That's going to be a double. Washington's heading to third. Here comes the throw from Schaefer. It's in time. The slide. And they're going to call him safe, I think. Yes, they are. So it's a triple for David Washington as Richie Schaefer, I believe, lost that one in the lights. He was under it, and he must have overran it as on his trip towards the foul line. So a runner on third to lead off the top of the third. Here's Vladimir Frias. 237, 8 home runs, 34 batted in. We'll see how that one scored. They're going to give him a base hit, so it is a triple. Looks like a stadium light assisted triple for Washington. Brownell deals first pitch to Frias, and that's in there for a strike. So Rockers now have their backs against the wall with trying to put this runner or keep Washington at third. Infield is in a little bit at third and short and second. Cardullo playing normal at first as this one bounces away from Nestor, but he gets to it quickly and does not allow Washington to advance. So the count 1-1. Well, if anybody can handle some high-leverage postseason situations in the Atlantic League, it's this guy on the mound for the Rockers, Brownell. 2013 Atlantic League Championship Series MVP for his work with the Long Island Ducks. Big thing, though, is you've got to keep this one on the ground, but this one is lined into right field, and they're going to say fair ball. It must have hit right on the line. It's going to be a double. Now Frias heading to third, and there will be no throw. So it looks like back-to-back triples. That looked foul from here. I'd love to see another look at it. It's an RBI triple as it stands. John Nestor, the catcher, thought it was foul. Jamie Keefe going out there for a look now. I thought it was foul. But at the moment, the Ducks have a 1-0 lead in the top of the third. Now a runner on third, still nobody out. Well, you knew if it had been called fair, which it did, it was going to be trouble in the corner for Jared Mitchell as that one rode the line all the way to the wall. And so it is an RBI triple for Vladimir Frias to get the scoring started in the top of the third. Here's Darby Myers, the right fielder, a .262 hitter, 2 home runs, and 24 driven in. Infield is in again for Myers. First pitch down low, ball 1. Rockers had the bases loaded in the first and could not score. Now back-to-back triples, not something you say every day, has got the Ducks on top 1-0 as this pitch is in the dirt and scooped there by Nestor. Sugarland and York just getting set from Texas. This pitch down and away. Checking his swing is Myers in the count 3-0. If Myers walks here, we'll see if the Rockers potentially would give up the run for the double play. Here's the 3-0, and that's a fastball strike at the knees. Brownell, that's a pitch number 29 for him in the third inning. Made it through the first two pretty quickly. Here's the 3-1, and that's just low, ball 4. Nestor turns back to ask where that one missed. And so runners are now at the corners for the Ducks in the top of the third. That'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Ray Fuentes, who struck out looking to begin the game. And to this point, that is still the only strikeout that Brownell has recorded. Runners at the corners. Middle infield has gone back to double play depth, so they will give up the run to turn 2 up the middle if they can. Here's the pitch. And that is a called strike to Fuentes. Vladimir Frias is at third. Darby Myers at first. And here's the 0-1 from Brownell. Runner goes, pitch is high. Gun there. What a throw from Nestor. And they called him safe. That was a fantastic throw by Nestor. Alfonso's not happy. Time has been called, so Frias has to go back to third. Jamie Keefe is running out to have a quick word. My goodness, I really thought that John Nestor gunned Darby Myers out at second base. It was close. Taking a look at the North State replay here. Woo, boy, that's close. He certainly looked out from that view. Let's see it again as we slow it down just a little bit more. Very close play there at second, but that gets rid of the double play. With the count 1-1 now. Nope, that was called a strike, so the home plate umpire, Lindy Hall, is letting us know it is 0-2. Couple tough breaks for the Rockers in the third. A triple down the line, a close play at second. And here's the 0-2, off-speed, pitch down low. Nestor scoops it up, and the count 1-2. Well, I tell you what, the Rockers did nothing wrong on that stolen base. It was a perfect throw from Nestor and a good tag by Alfonso. Brownell deals the 1-2. That's down and in, and the count 2-2 now. So obviously with the double play off the table, the middle infield comes back in, and they're looking to cut Frias off at the plate if they can. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and nobody away in the top of the third. Fuentes calls for time and gets it. Long Island Ducks, a lot of guys who have major league experience. Here's the 2-2, Fuentes being one of them, fouls this one off. And the count stays 2-2. Brandon Beachy, of course, spent some time with the Atlanta Braves. Darren Downs, their starter tonight. Brian Mattis with the Orioles. Vin Mazzaro with the Oakland Athletics. Ramon Cabrera and Hector Sanchez, both catchers. Steve Lombardozzi, the middle infielder. David Washington. Daniel Fields, Lou Ford, and Ray Fuentes. So a lot of guys for the Ducks have been to the big show, if you will, as that pitch is up and away, and the count goes full to Fuentes. Brownell, 1 wild, 1 away from loading the bases in the third inning. Rockers still looking for their first out. Here's the 3-2. And that just missed, ball 4. And so the bases are loaded. And no pun intended, but Lombardozzi has some ducks on the pond, a chance to bring in a few more runs. Left-handed hitter Lombardozzi. Rockers middle infield of Alfonso and Russell back into double play depth now. The corner infielders, I should say, playing even with their respective bases, maybe a step ahead. And here's the first pitch to Lombardozzi. It is a curveball, strike at the knees. It's a big thing for John Brownell to get ahead. Gives him a lot more options as far as what to throw and when he can throw it. Here's the 0-1, goes fastball. This one stays just inside, and the count is 1-1. Manager Wally Backman is doubling as the third base coach. Lombardozzi hits this one high in the air to center. Schroeder racing back. This one's going to get over his head. It is off the base of the wall. 1 run comes in to score. Here comes a second one to score. The throw is going to be cut off there by Alfonso, and it's a 2-run double for Steve Lombardozzi. Washington scored. Frias and Myers scored. And Ray Fuentes goes to third, so runners on second and third, still nobody out. For the number 3 hitter, Lou Ford. In the top of the third, it's 3-0 Ducks. Brownell delivers. Here's the pitch. That's down low, ball 1. Things were going so well through the first 2 innings, and the Rockers have run into trouble here in the third, and it's absolutely imperative to try to hold the damage to 3 runs where it is right now. Here's the pitch to Ford, down and away, 2-0. Rockers could conceivably pitch carefully to Ford, send him to first base, and that would have the bases loaded again, but you put up the force at any possible bag. Here's the 2-0, and that's just going to miss away. And the count is full. Brownell glares in. He thought he had that one. And here's the 3-0 to Ford. There's a fastball that just misses ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to Lou Ford, bases loaded. Still nobody out. This is the second time this inning that the Ducks have loaded the bases. John Nestor heading out for a quick conversation.
Number 11, LJ Mazzilli.
And that will bring up LJ Mazzilli. Mazzilli bounced out to second his first time up. Rockers would love to have him do that again. Mazzilli had a very good year for the Ducks. .293 average, 13 home runs, and 74 batted in. Brownell comes set, and here's the first pitch. There's a called strike to Mazzilli. Mazzilli, the cleanup hitter. Hector Sanchez, the catcher, waits on deck. 6 men have come to the plate for the Ducks in the top of the third. All 6 have reached base safely. Action up in the bullpen for the Rockers. It's a right-hander. I believe it's Trevor Frank. It is, as I'm getting confirmation. This one is hit high in the air to right center field, not deep. Jared Mitchell is under it. We'll see if they send the runner. They do. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's a good throw. Nestor's tag, not in time. A sacrifice fly will score Ray Fuentes. And it is 4-0, Ducks. Well, for all the tough luck the Rockers have gotten so far, I think that Fuentes did get under that throw, under that tag, I should say. The Rockers do have their first out of the inning, though. Runners on second and first. Here's the pitch to Sanchez, and that just misses ball 1. Sanchez walked his first time up. Lombardozzi, the runner at second. Ford, the runner at first. Here's the pitch. This one hit on the ground to Russell. Should be 2. Flips it to Alfonso at second for 1. The relay to first in time. And through 3 innings, the Rockers have turned 3 double plays. But unlike the first 2 innings, this one didn't go so smoothly. The Long Island Ducks, 4 runs. And we go to the bottom of the third inning. It's Long Island 4, your High Point Rockers nothing. This is High Point Rockers baseball.
Rockers fans, it's that time.
With hashtag #NoFilterFriday here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my new show, hashtag #NoFilterFriday, where we talk about all of the sexual misconduct allegations swirling around Hollywood. A new show drops every Friday at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of hashtag #NoFilterFriday. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Daniel Poppy, host of How to Write Good here on Public House Media. I just want to thank you for listening to the following broadcast brought to you by Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope that you'll come check out my show, How to Write Good, the writing show that is not about writing. A new show of How to Write Good comes out every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of How to Write Good. Again, thanks for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys,
This is Keith.
and Katie from Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcasts on Public House Media.
When you're done listening to this show, I hope you'll come check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie. A new episode comes out every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Bottom of the third inning, Rockers now find themselves down 4-0. Michael Russell, Hector Gomez, Quincy Lattimore, the 3 hitters scheduled in the bottom half of this frame. Rockers loaded the bases but didn't score in the first inning, so they can get something going against Darren Downs. Michael Russell grounded out to shorten his first at-bat. Downs already at 40 pitches through the first 2 innings, and the first pitch to Russell a called strike. Brownell is at 49. I think he was at 28 or something like that through the first 2 innings. I don't even think he threw that many, but point being, his pitch count just shot up big time in the third. Here's the 0-1 to Russell. That's up and in under the arms, and the count 1-1. Here's the 1-1 to Russell. He swings and misses, and the count is 1-2. Big thing for the Rockers is that they don't have to get everything back here at once. Just chip away a little bit so you can set yourself up to be there at the end of the ball game. Here's the 1-2 to Russell, and that's up and in, and the count is 2-2. Downs comes set. And here's that 2-2 to Russell. He swings, hits this one on the ground to first, scooped up by Washington, and he'll take it himself for out number 1. Here's Hector Gomez. He walked his first at-bat. So we will see. Again, we noticed that Trevor Frank was throwing in the bullpen the last half inning. We'll see if that double play will allow them to stick with Brownell or if they're going to go bullpen the rest of the ways. Nobody's throwing now. And here's the pitch to Gomez. That's inside, ball 1. Gomez, Lattimore, and Schaefer, the part of the lineup that loaded the bases in the first. Walk, single, and walk. Rockers have 2 hits to this point. The single by Lattimore and then the bunt single by Giovanni Alfonso last inning. There's a called strike, count 1-1 to Gomez, the former big league infielder. You know, maybe Hector Gomez doesn't have the power of, say, Richie Schaefer, but you got to think he probably had the best all-around offensive year by a High Point Rocker. He chops this one on the ground in the hole to Frias. It's going to be a long throw. It's in time. Good play by Vladimir Frias for out number 2. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Quincy Lattimore. Still plenty of baseball left to be played at BB&T Point as we're, again, just in the bottom of the third. And it's postseason baseball, so anything can happen. And as the saying goes, anything can happen in baseball, and it usually does. First pitch inside to Lattimore, ball 1. And Downs will come set. Here's the pitch. He swings and hits this one high in the air to center, not deep. Coming in a couple of steps is Fuentes, and he will put it away for the final out of the inning. So the Rockers go down 1-2-3 in the third. We go to the top of the fourth inning. Rockers trail 4-0. This is High Point Rockers baseball.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys,
This is Keith.
and Katie from Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcasts on Public House Media.
When you're done listening to this show, I hope you'll come check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie. A new episode comes out every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Jessica Hammer, co-host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Maddie and I talk about all things pageant related, especially our experiences in the Miss America organization. A new show comes out bi-weekly, every other Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Top of the fourth inning, Long Island Ducks lead your High Point Rockers by a tally of 4-0. It'll be Romero, Washington, and Frias, the three hitters. Brownell still in the game, and the first pitch to Romero popped up into shallow right field. The first baseman, Cardulo, makes the catch, stumbling into foul territory. A very tough play by Cardulo, but he hangs with it and makes a great catch in shallow right field for the first out. So one pitch, one out in the top of the fourth. And that will bring up the man who started all the trouble last inning, David Washington, who tripled. And would come in to score on Vladimir Frias' triple. Here's the first pitch from Brownell to Washington. That's off speed, up and away. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Brownell working quickly. Here's the 1-0. That's just low. And the count 2-0. Brownell looking to bounce back after a rough third inning. The 2-0 is just low again. 3 balls, no strikes. Brownell not missing badly on his pitches. He's just off the zone by a hair or so. Here's the 3-0. Fastball swing and a miss on one down out of the zone, and the count is 3-1. They gave Washington the green light, and why not? He's got 23 home runs on the year, 60 RBIs, a .237 hitter. And here's the 3-1. There's a fastball. Just missing, ball 4. You hear a chorus of boos raining down from the fans at BB&T Point, as the Ducks have a one-out base runner in the fourth. Here's Vladimir Frias, who tripled and scored last inning. .55 pitches for Brownell, 27 of them for strikes. And Frias asks for time. He steps out of that left-handed box. And Brownell set, ready to deliver. The 0-1 pitch, runner goes. The throw is in plenty of time, and they've gunned him out. Great throw there from Nestor. The pitch, I believe, was ball 1, but more importantly, the Rockers pick up their second out of the inning on the caught stealing. That one goes 2-6. Great throw from Nestor, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the 1-0. This one's hit on a line into right field. It's tailing, but Mitchell is there, and he makes the catch for the final out of the inning. So John Brownell settles back in after a rough third and is able to retire all 3 hitters with a little help from his friend John Nestor in the caught stealing. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. It's still 4-0 in favor of the Ducks. This is High Point Rockers Playoff Baseball.
What's up, everybody? This is Christian Heimel, host of Press Row here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Press Row, where we talk about the biggest issues in sports with the analysts, experts, and reporters who cover them. No nonsense, hard-hitting interviews on the sports topics you're talking about. A new show comes out every single Thursday. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Press Row. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Rachel Mullins, host of #NoFilterFriday here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my new show, #NoFilterFriday, where we talk about all of the sexual misconduct allegations swirling around Hollywood. A new show drops every Friday at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of #NoFilterFriday. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Daniel Poppy, host of How to Write Good here on Public House Media. I just want to thank you for listening to the following broadcast brought to you by Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope that you'll come check out my show, How to Write Good, the writing show that is not about writing. A new show of How to Write Good comes out every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of How to Write Good. Again, thanks for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Bottom of the fourth inning, it'll be Richie Schaefer, Jared Mitchell, Miles Schroeder coming up for the Rockers in their first ever taste of postseason baseball. The City of High Point's first taste of postseason baseball, at least coming from the High Point Rockers. First pitch to Schaefer in there for a strike. The count 0-1. Schaefer worked a walk in the first inning, finished second in the home run tally with 27 home runs, although quite a ways behind the leader, Telvin Nash, who ended the year, just what a year he had as that pitch in there for a strike, 0-2. 41 home runs and 100 RBIs for Telvin Nash of the York Revolution. Their game, I believe, has just gotten underway. We'll give you an update on that one in just a moment. Here's the 0-2 to Schaefer, though, up over his head, and the count is 1-2. So there is no score in the Revolution Skeeters game at the moment. They are just underway in the bottom of the first inning. And here's the 1-2 to Schaefer. Checks his swing on a fastball that stays away, and the count is 2-2. And one of the things that Jamie Keefe said in the pregame show is even though the Rockers struggled offensively in the month of September as Schaefer swings and misses strike three, as we talked about in the pregame show, they hit 253 in the season, but only 225 in September. Jamie Keefe said the important thing for everybody is just to remember that postseason starts everything over. Your batting average is 0, your earned run average is 0, your win-loss record is 0. The one thing that hopefully carries over is the Rockers can remember they had a bunch of magical moments here at home over the course of the summer, and would love to pull one of those out tonight. Mitchell swing and a miss, strike one. Still plenty of time as we're just in the bottom of the fourth. Mitchell struck out to end the first inning. And Downs, the lefty, kicks and deals the 0-1. And that's a ball, fastball away, and the count 1-1. Tomorrow's game, also a 6:30 start time. Craig Stem making the start for the Rockers. Vin Mazzaro, the former Oakland Athletic. What a year he had as Mitchell fouls this one off, count 1-2. Mazzaro finished the year 11-4 for the Ducks, a 3.61 earned run average. Rest of the Rockers rotation for this first round goes as follows. Stem will pitch tomorrow. The first game at Long Island will be Joe Van Meter on Friday. Matt Sergey is scheduled to throw on Saturday, and Brownell will close things out in a Game 5 if necessary. Mitchell swings, hits this one high in the air to right field, but not deep enough as Myers settles under it and makes the catch for out number 2. Again, the original plan, we talked to Frank Viola for that Off the Rockers podcast last week, was for Joe Van Meter to make the start tonight. But with the Rockers struggling through the course of that last week of the regular season, they needed somebody to finally clinch that playoff spot, and they gave Van Meter the ball on Saturday. So the fact that he threw over 100 pitches took him out of getting the Game 1 start tonight. Here's Miles Schroeder, takes first pitch down low, ball 1. Schroeder flied out to center in his first at-bat. 4-4-0, the line score for the Ducks, 0-2-0 for the Rockers. Schroeder fouls this one down the third base side, and the count is 1-1. No errors for the Rockers, I should say, and some fantastic defense being played as well. You got to again mention that great play that Giovanni Alfonso made on the double play, leapt up and caught the line drive and throw to first. Great play by Cardullo to keep his foot on the bag there as well, as that one inside 2-1 to Schroeder. And then Got to give a shout out to the man on deck, John Nestor, for the caught stealing of David Washington last half inning. Downs comes set. Here's the 2-1 to Schroeder. He kicks and deals, and Schroeder fouls it up overhead and out of play. The count 2-2. Darren Downs at 62 pitches in the bottom of the inning. Brownell rebounded nicely. After throwing over 20 in the third, he only needed 8 in the fourth. Here's the pitch inside to Schroeder, ball 3, and the count is full. So Brownell just at 57 pitches. And if he settles in and that third inning is the only blip in the radar, Brownell still could potentially go 7 innings tonight. Here's the 3-2 to Schroeder. Hits this one. A hot shot on the ground to third. Backhanded by Romero. The throw on to first is low, but corralled by David Washington. And that's the final out of the inning. Rockers go down 1-2-3 for the second frame in a row. We go to the top of the 5th inning. It is 4-0 Ducks. This is High Point Rockers postseason baseball.
This is Jessica Hammer, co-host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Maddie and I talk about all things pageant related, especially our experiences in the Miss America organization. A new show comes out bi-weekly, every other Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Jenna Burt, host of the Confessions of a Military Spouse podcast here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Confessions of a Military Spouse, where we dig deep and talk about the unspoken hard truths of what it's really like to be a military spouse. A new show comes out bi-weekly. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Confessions of a Military Spouse. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Kim Meyer, the host of Choose to Rise here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Choose to Rise, where we talk about living with positive mindsets, how to increase our confidence, building our faith, and comes out via podcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you want to catch the episode live instead, stop by Public House Media around 6:45 Central Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Choose to Rise. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
First pitch in the top of the 5th inning, chopped over to Hector Gomez, and he'll throw on to first base to retire the leadoff hitter this inning, Darby Myers. 1 pitch, 1 out for John Brownell. That'll bring up the top of the lineup, Ray Fuentes, who's 0 for 1 today, but has also walked and scored. If you're Brownell, though, you'll take those real quick outs. Try to give your offense more opportunity. They've gone down 1, 2, 3 back-to-back innings, though. Brownell deals, and that first pitch fastball just missing away, and the count is 1-0. Brownell's been around the zone today. He's been very, very close to strikes. I know those don't count, but that pitch just missing 2-0. My point being, it's not that he's wild and missing badly on his pitches. Here's the 2-0. That's an off-speed pitch in there for a strike. And the count is 2-1. Brownell working quickly, the 2-1 fastball down low, 3 balls and a strike. And here's the 3-1. That one's popped up. It's going to get out of play, foul down the third base side. So flock of, looks like just some birds flew by overhead, but it's dark out here, so not sure what it was. Here's the 3-2, a hot shot down the right field side, and first base coach, the infielder Clint Freeman for the Ducks, who's out of this series with an injury. No, he's not. He's a two-way player, excuse me. He's not injured. He's first base coach tonight, and he had to duck out of the way of that one. Here's the 3-2, and it just stays up high, ball 4. So another walk issued by Brownell, and that was kind of something that bit him a little bit in his last start. He walked 4 guys in his last regular season start against the New Britain Bees. And so far tonight, he's walked 5. So control has been something that Brownell has struggled with in his last 2 starts. That'll bring up Steve Lombardozzi. 2 for 2, a single and a double, and 2 RBIs. He takes strike 1. Hector Gomez playing even with the bag at third base. Cardullo is holding Fuentes on. We'll see if they want to run on Nestor. I think he's already displayed that he's got a fantastic arm. Here's the pitch. Lombardozzi, a shallow blooper into right field. Could be trouble. Nice backhanded catch by Russell. The throw onto first base in plenty of time to get Ray Fuentes, and the Rockers turn another double play. Michael Russell, a fantastic job. Back to the infield. Makes the over-the-head catch and whips around and throws out Fuentes, who was way too far off of the bag. So another great double play turned by the Rockers. And we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Rockers trail 4-0, but we'll see if those defensive gems will give them a little momentum. This is High Point Rockers Playoff Baseball.
This is Jessica Hammer, co-host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Maddie and I talk about all things pageant related, especially our experiences in the Miss America organization. A new show comes out bi-weekly, every other Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Bottom of inning number 5 at BB&T Point. Rockers trail the Long Island Ducks in game 1 of a best-of-5 series. It's 4-0 as we have reached the midway point this evening. Rockers will have Nestor, Alfonso, and then back to the top with Stephen Cardullo, the 3 scheduled hitters. John Nestor struck out his first time, but he's played a very solid catcher behind the plate, so we'll see if he can translate that into picking up a base hit here to get things going. Again, just like I said, earlier on in the game, the Rockers don't need to try to get everything back in one inning. Nestor fouls this one straight back, and the count 0-1. Just 1 or 2 runs here to try to get yourself within striking distance for later in the game. Nestor can get on with a base hit. You could certainly... It's not out of the realm of possibility that Giovanni Alfonso would lay down a bunt like he did in his last at-bat. Nestor hits this one off of downs, but it goes right to the first baseman, Washington, and Nestor's out. That's some bad luck for the Rockers again, as that one's lined off the pitcher, and usually those will go for a base hit, but Downs is adjusting his pant leg as the trainer and Wally Backman, the manager, come out there. Looked all right. I think it might have got off his leg. So you give the pitcher the assist. As Washington trotted over to first base to retire Nestor. And that'll bring up Giovanni Alfonso, who bunted for a single, pushed it right past Darren Downs in his first at-bat. Rockers only have 2 hits to this point as Downs looks like he's going to be good to go. Obviously, they're going to let him throw a couple of warm-up tosses and see how he feels, especially if he got his leg, lower part of the leg, and you kind of want to make sure that plant is going to be okay and you can push off of it. As he's on his 3rd warm-up toss now. Looks okay. And I think he's convinced Wally Backman of that as well. As he heads back in towards the Long Island bench now. So Darren Downs looks like he's good to go.
The shortstop.
And so we will resume play here as Giovanni Alfonso steps in. Alfonso, the number 9 hitter, one of 2 base hits for the Rockers today. Quincy Lattimore has the other. And here's the first pitch to Alfonso. And it is a strike on the inner part of the plate, 0-1. They're playing him pretty deep down the right field side or the right side of the infield again. So if he put a bunt in the exact same spot that he did last time, I feel like he'd beat it out again. Here's the pitch. That's down low. And the count 1-1. Take out the top of the 3rd inning where the Ducks scored their 4, and the Rockers have been hanging with the Ducks blow for blow tonight in their first foray into postseason baseball. As Downs steps off and looks down at his plant location on the front slope of the mound. Now he's ready to go. Here's the pitch, and it's chopped foul. Nice barehanded play by Rockers skipper and third base coach Jamie Keefe. And the count 1-2 strikes. Steven Cardullo waits on deck. There's 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. And Downs will deliver this one, a hot shot on the ground to third. Romero scoops it up, had to check his glove, wasn't sure that he even made the play at first, but fires it across the diamond, and that will retire Alfonso for out number 2. And to bring up the top of the lineup, Steven Cardullo, he's 0 for 2 tonight. Again, finished the year on the leaderboard in home runs, 2nd on the Rockers with 22. And drove in 70 primarily from the leadoff spot, was extremely productive for the Rockers in the top of the lineup. Base is empty and 2 away, and he takes a strike at or around the knees, and the count is 0-1. Rockers just looking for a base runner. They have not had one since the 2nd inning. And that one a strike, and the count 0-2. In fact, 9 straight have been retired by Darren Downs, who certainly appears to be in a groove for the Ducks in the mid stages of this ball game. He is at 73 pitches, though, so maybe the Rockers could try to chase him with a lengthy 6th, as that one's down and in, and the count is 1-2. Downs looks in, gets the sign from Sanchez, and comes set. And here's the 1-2 to Cardullo. It's an off-speed pitch. It's away. And the count 2 strikes to the Rockers' leadoff man. Cardullo, a guy that they can play all across the diamond. He plays outfield. They've got him at first base. He's been playing a lot of first base since Tyler Ladendorf came back from Durham. The Rockers, of course, have had to juggle playing time, especially among the infielders. Here's the 2-2, and Cardullo just gets a piece of it and sends that ball into the Long Island dugout. Again, tomorrow's game, a 6:30 start time, and we'll be on air again at 6:15. Here's the 2-2 to Cardullo. That's inside, and the count goes full. There's no rhyme or reason for it, but the Rockers like hitting with 2 outs. Certainly don't feel a sense of pressure. This one chopped down the first base side and foul. So the count's still 3-2. Here's the pitch from Downs. Cardullo swings and again fouls it off. This one off the top of the screen behind the plate. And the count remains at 0-2. Waiting on deck, Michael Russell, a guy who we mentioned has been fantastic against the Long Island Ducks pitching staff. He hits over .430 against Long Island over the course of the regular season, but he was a guy that struggled in the month of September. So he's trying to turn over a new page today. Here's the 3-2 to Cardullo. Went around on the pitch down, and that is strike 3. And so the Rockers go down 1-2-3 for the 3rd consecutive inning. And we go to the top of the 6th. It's still 4-0 in favor of the Long Island Ducks. This is High Point Rockers Playoff Baseball.
This is Jenna Burt, host of the Confessions of a Military Spouse podcast here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Confessions of a Military Spouse, where we dig deep and talk about the unspoken hard truths of what it's really like to be a military spouse. A new show comes out bi-weekly. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Confessions of a Military Spouse. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Kim Meyer, the host of Choose to Rise here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Choose to Rise, where we talk about living with positive mindsets, how to increase our confidence, building our faith, and living out our life on purpose. A new show comes out via podcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you want to catch the episode live instead, stop by Public House Media around 6:45 Central Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Choose to Rise. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hi, this is Emily.
This is Lindsay.
And this is Elizabeth, co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Once you are done with this episode, we hope you'll come check out our show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk nerdy to you about fandoms, fan fiction, and all pop culture for nerds that you can think of. A new show comes out every Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Top of the 6th inning. Lou Ford will lead off for the Long Island Ducks, who lead your High Point Rockers 4-0. First pitch to Ford in there for a strike. And that one's a strike, so Brownell quickly ahead at 0-2. Brownell working quickly. Here's the 0-2. They check down to first, and they're going to say that Ford did not go around. And so the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Lou Ford. Rockers down 4-0. Ford swings and slams a line drive into center field. Schroeder racing back, and he will haul it in for out number 1. Almost thought for a moment that Schroeder might have been playing him in too shallow, and he reached out at the last moment and made the catch. So that will bring up L.J. Mazzilli, the cleanup hitter, 0 for 1 today, also has a sacrifice fly. And here's the pitch from Brownell. That one just missing for a ball. Another good pitch from Brownell that just missed. And here is the 1-0 to Mazzilli. That just misses, and the count is 2-0. Big League Scoreboard report. Only one game has gone final as Mazzilli chases that one and misses. And in the count 2-1. Nationals defeat the Phillies today 4-1. Here's what is the most interesting about that is the 2-1 from Brownell is down low 3-1. So with that loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are eliminated from the postseason. So Bryce Harper eliminated at Nationals Park by his former team today. Here's the 3-1, and it's up high, ball 4. Some poetic justice if you're a Washington Nationals fan. That game, one of a doubleheader. They're underway right now with Game 2 as Hector Sanchez steps in. The New York Yankees lead the Tampa Bay Rays in the top of the 4th inning. Cameron Maben, his 10th home run of the year. Jordan Montgomery made his long-awaited return for the Yankees back from Tommy John surgery. Pitched 2 scoreless innings to start that game. Here's the first pitch. Slammed on the ground into right field. A base hit from Sanchez. Running to third is Mazzilli. The throw is cut off, so runners will be at the corners with 1 out. And again, the Long Island Ducks are threatening with runners again at the corners. The Rockers probably going to have to play the infield in. You cannot let this run score as Debinson Romero steps in. Game 2 of that doubleheader, the Phillies with a 4-1 lead on the Nationals. Max Scherzer struggling through his outing as Brad Miller hit a 3-run home run in the first, and the Phillies lead in the 4th. Brewers and Reds 3-2 Milwaukee in the top of the 6th inning, but Sonny Gray picked up his 200th strikeout of 2019. What a bounce back for Sonny Gray after a rough year in New York last year. Romero hits this one high in the air to left field. Racing back is Schaefer. Makes the catch. The run scores easily, so a sacrifice fly makes it 5-0 in favor of the Ducks. And there are 2 away. That'll bring up David Washington, who's 1 for 1 with a triple and a walk. Twins and Tigers, top of the 6th inning. Tigers lead 1-0 on Candelario's sacrifice fly. Cubs lead the Pirates 1-0 in the top of the 5th inning. Orioles all over the Blue Jays 5-1. They're in the 5th as well. Marlins blanking the Mets 3-0 in the 4th. And the first pitch to Washington is hit high and foul. Racing over is Gomez. Will he have a chance? No, he will not, as it drops in the Long Island bullpen, 0-1. Red Sox lead the Rangers 2-0. That one just underway in the top of the 1st inning. Xander Bogaerts an RBI base hit. J.D. Martinez an RBI single as well. Top of the 1st, no score. Indians and White Sox. No score. Braves and Royals there in the top of the 1st inning as well. Cardinals and Diamondbacks get underway at 9:40. Flaherty versus Mike Leake in that one. Rockies and Giants, 9:45. Hoffman versus Madison Bumgarner. A's and Angels at 10:07. Homer Bailey making the start for the A's. What a great year Oakland's had as they're coming down to the wire trying to grab a playoff spot. That one in there, a strike to Washington. Astros and Mariners. Garrett Cole making the start for Houston. Dodgers and Padres. Rich Hill making the start for the 100-win Dodgers. That game at 10:10. This one chopped foul off the bat of Washington in the count 0-2. You look at those major league standings and home field advantage, it's all up for grabs right now. The Yankees and Astros, both with 102 victories. The Astros have played one less game, so they have one less loss in the loss column. You look at the wild card, though. The A's have a 1.5 game advantage. The Indians just a half game behind Tampa Bay right now. Here's the 0-2. That's inside to Washington in the count 1-2. In the National League, the Nationals and the Brewers are your wild card spots, and the Cubs 4 back with just a handful of games to go. So the September swoon for the Cubs, I think, might have cost the Chicago Cubs. And I'm hearing rumors it may have cost Joe Madden his job, potentially, as that one is up high in the count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner on first base. In the top of the 6th, 1 run in for Long Island on a sacrifice fly. Here's the 2-2 to Washington. Curveball, swing and a miss, strike 3. The tag there made by Nestor. And so that's the final out of the inning, but not before a sacrifice fly allowed another run to score. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning, 5-0 Ducks. This is High Point Rockers Playoff Baseball.
Hammer, co-host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Maddie and I talk about all things pageant related, especially our experiences in the Miss America organization. A new show comes out bi-weekly, every other Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Jenna Burt, host of the Confessions of a Military Spouse podcast here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Confessions of a Military Spouse, where we dig deep and talk about the unspoken hard truths of what it's really like to be a military spouse. A new show comes out bi-weekly. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Confessions of a Military Spouse. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Bottom of the 6th inning, and the Rockers' hole just got a little bit deeper after a sacrifice fly gave the Long Island Ducks a 5-0 lead. Rockers will have 4 more chances. First thing you got to do, though, is you got to get a base runner. They've only had a handful of those today. 2 base hits and 2 more reached via a walk, but not since the 2nd inning, as Darren Downs has just mowed through the Rockers lineup. 5 strikeouts in the first 5 frames. First pitch to Michael Russell in there for a strike. And the count is 0-1. Off-speed pitch, just missing inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Michael Russell. Russell, Gomez, and Lattimore. So if you want to get something going offensively, these are the guys you want to do it, as Russell fouls this one off of himself, and the count is 1-2. Darren Downs at 83 pitches. So this could potentially be his last inning, as Russell chasing this one, strike 3. Sanchez will throw on down to first base for out number 1. And that'll bring up Hector Gomez. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. And the Rockers are going to ask their most reliable hitter to come through. Scoring update out of Sugar Land. The Revolution have a 1-0 lead. And they have the bases loaded as Gomez swings, hits a high drive to left field, and it's caught by L.J. Mazzilli. Gomez got the fans' attention for a moment as you heard a cheer start to arise from the grandstands, but that one settled into the glove of Mazzilli, out number 2. So it's 1-0 Revolution in the top of the 3rd inning there. They scored on a bases-loaded walk to Isaias Tejeda. Just 1 out in that one. Again, they still have the bases loaded. Here's Quincy Lattimore. He's 1 for 2 with a single. And he swings, hits this one high in the air to center. Going back, looking back. This one is gone. Rockabye baseball, and Quincy Lattimore has the Rockers on the board. Their first playoff run, their first playoff home run in team history. And the Rockers have knocked the deficit back down to 4. Fuentes started drifting back like he was going to have a play on it, but he just eventually ran out of room.
Left fielder, number 8, Richie Schaefer.
So here's Richie Schaefer now. It's 5-1. We'll see if that home run gets the Rockers going. And the first pitch to Schaefer is a called strike at the knees. This one is a ball on the count, 1-1 to Schaefer. Jared Mitchell waits on deck. There's a called strike, count 1-2. Schaefer trying to mentally reset there for a moment, and the count 1-2 as Downs looks in. And he will deliver the 1-2 to Schaefer. Checks his swing, but this one will get away from the catcher Sanchez. The throw on to first is not in time. Richie Schaefer strikes out but beats out the throw, and the 6th inning continues for the Rockers. Well, he chased one that was down, but it got away from Sanchez, and the off-balance throw, it looked like it was probably going to be in time, but it was up the line, or it was off target, I should say, and Washington had to come off of the base to make the catch. So that'll bring up Jared Mitchell, and the Rockers have a chance to continue things in the 6th. This one a strike to Mitchell. Mitchell, a guy who's got some power, 12 home runs this year. But he's got some speed as well. If he could put one in the gap. Swings, hits this one weakly on the ground to first. Washington is there, and he will take it himself for the final out of the inning. But the Rockers are on the board. A solo home run from Quincy Lattimore, and we'll see if that gets them going offensively as we head to the top of the 7th. But first, it'll be up to John Brownell and the Rockers defense to try to put up another 0 on the board. It is Long Island 5, High Point 1. This is High Point Rockers postseason baseball.
This is Daniel Poppy, host of How to Write Good here on Public House Media. I just want to thank you for listening to the following broadcast brought to you by Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope that you'll come check out my show, How to Write Good, the writing show that is not about writing. A new show of How to Write Good comes out every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of How to Write Good. Again, thanks for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys,
This is Keith.
and Katie from Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
When you're done listening to this show, I hope you'll come check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie. A new episode comes out every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Jessica Hammer, co-host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Maddie and I talk about all things pageant related, especially our experiences in the Miss America organization. A new show comes out bi-weekly, every other Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Top of the 7th inning, Vladimir Frias steps in. It'll be Frias, Myers, and then back to the top. And that one just missing from Brownells. He's clearly been frustrated with the calls or lack thereof that he's gotten tonight. Here's the 1-0. Frias, a soft line drive into left field. That'll get down for a leadoff single. Ducks lead 5-1. This game has been all Ducks. The Rockers just got on the board last inning. Or the Rockers did with a solo home run off of the bat of Quincy Lattimore. Big thing here would be for Brownell and the Rockers to put up a 0. Somebody up in the bullpen again for the Rockers. Just now started to throw. I think it's Dusty Isaacs. It is. And here's the pitch, a bunt. He missed the bunt to throw down to first. Not in time. Good look there by Nestor as Darby Myers missed on the bunt attempt. It was strike one. And the count 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Again shows bunt, but this time pulls back and it's ball one. Here's the 1-1, again showing bunt, again pulls back. This one misses, and the count is 2-1. Myers from the bottom of the lineup walked his first at-bat, stole a base and scored, grounded out to third his last time. Hector Gomez, the third baseman for the Rockers, playing in. Timeout is called. I believe Vladimir Frias is adjusting his shoe over there at first base. He is. And here is the 2-1. That's down low. 3 balls and a strike. Leadoff man is aboard. Brownell is up at 90 pitches, trying to get through the 7th inning. Again, you take out the third, and he's been fantastic today. Runner goes on the 3-1, pitch is low. There is no throw from Nestor. And so that's ball 4. So 2 on to start the inning, and Ray Fuentes comes up. He's 0 for 1 today. He's walked twice. Rockers would love to pick up that double play. Alfonso holding Frias close at second. And showing bunt, pulling back is Fuentes, but it's a called strike, count 0-1. Rockers' corners are in. Cardulo at first and Gomez at third. Good crowd here tonight at BB&T Point. Thank you for joining us on YouTube and Spreaker. Brownell jumps off and fakes a throw to second. Frias dives back in safely. But, of course, since everything here is artificial turf, you can slide in the dirt area as much as you want. You'll never get your uniform dirty. Here's the pitch. This one bunted towards third base. Gomez's only play is going to be to first. He fires it in time, just barely nabbing Fuentes at first. But Frias will go to third. Myers goes to second. The double play is gone. Rockers going to have to keep the infield in here, I would guess, with Lombardozzi coming up. Jamie Keefe is coming out. I believe they're going to the bullpen. And, yep, here comes Dusty Isaacs. So John Brownell's evening is done as he gets into the 7th inning. And we will step aside and let Dusty Isaacs warm up. When we come back, we'll give you his numbers. And we can close the book on John Brownell. We will at the first available moment. So we'll step aside. Rockers down 5-1, and the Ducks threatening to score more. This is High Point Rockers baseball.
What's up, everybody? This is Christian Heimel, host of Press Row here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Press Row, where we talk about the biggest issues in sports with the analysts, experts, and reporters who cover them. No nonsense, hard-hitting interviews on the sports topics you're talking about. A new show comes out every single Thursday. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Press Row. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Rachel Mullins, host of #NoFilterFriday here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my new show, #NoFilterFriday, where we talk about all of the sexual misconduct allegations swirling around Hollywood. A new show drops every Friday at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of #NoFilterFriday. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
New pitcher for the Rockers, it's Dusty Isaacs. 1-3 on the year, 5.55 earned run average in 23 appearances, 24 innings pitched, 32 strikeouts, 13 walks, opponents hitting .250 off of him. So he will be tasked with keeping the deficit at 4. Although the Long Island Ducks with 2 guys in scoring position, runners on second and third with just 1 out. As this is game 1 of a best-of-5 series, the Rockers won the season series 11-8. But the Long Island Ducks had the Rockers' number in the second half, going 5-4, including taking the final series of the regular season. A lot of S's for me to get through there. All right, so here is Steve Lombardozzi. 1 out. And 2 runners in scoring position. Both of those runners, of course, are Brownell's responsibility should they score. Here's the first pitch to Lombardozzi, and Isaacs missing that one down and in, ball 1. Great play there by the catcher Nestor to keep that one in front of him. Steve Lombardozzi tonight, a single, a double, 2 RBIs, and hit into a double play. Dusty Isaacs, the righty, works from the third base side of the rubber. And here's the 1-0. And again, he misses inside. And the count 2-0. The runner at third, Vladimir Frias. The runner at second, Darby Myers. And here is the 2-0 pitch. And again, down and in, 3 balls, no strikes. Isaacs 1 bad one away from loading the bases back up for the Ducks. As all 3 of his first pitches have been down and in to the left-handed hitting Lombardozzi. With the dangerous Lou Ford waiting on deck. Here's the 3-0 to Lombardozzi. A fastball down low, ball 4. And Isaacs looks like he's going to have some issues with his command, at least to start this inning, as he has yet to throw a strike. Here comes Lou Ford, 0 for 2 with a walk. Again, tomorrow's starters, Vin Mazzaro. For the Ducks, 11-4 on the year. Craig Stem, 5-5. But a 2.89 earned run average. Stem's been pitching well recently. Here's the pitch to Ford. And that's a strike at the knees. So the first pitch for Dusty Isaacs, or the first strike for Isaacs, I should say. Well, again, though, about Brownell, the fact is that you take out the third inning where he gave up the 4 runs, and other than that, he pitched well. He got into the 7th inning. He got some help by the defense. I think the Rockers defense, has turned 4 double plays already today. If they could get another one here, they'd get out of the inning. This one chopped on the ground. It's a weak one. Gomez's only play is going to be to first. Fires, and they're going to call him safe. Cardullo thought that he got him at first base. Hector Gomez is racing over to talk to Silvio Martinez, the first base umpire. Jamie Keefe is out there as well. Lou Ford beat it out. Here's the North State replay. We'll take a look at it. So the throw from Gomez came in. You see the stretch by Cardullo. Yeah, he beat it out. That's a infield base hit. So a good call by Silvio Martinez. And the bases remain loaded. It's now 6-1. As Vladimir Frias scores, Myers now at third, Lombardozzi at second, and Lou Ford is at first. Here's LJ Mazzilli, 0 for 1 tonight, also has a sacrifice fly, a walk, and a run scored. First pitch, a strike to Mazzilli. The Rockers struggling in their first taste of postseason action. They're down 6-1 in the top of the 7th. Swing and a miss there by Mazzilli. Count 0-2. Bases loaded. 0-2 count to Mazzilli. Rockers would love that double play to get out of the inning. We'll see if Dusty Isaacs can ring up the magic combination for it. Here's the 0-2. This one down and in. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Waiting on deck is Hector Sanchez. He's got a base hit tonight. And here's the pitch. They're going to see if he went. They're going to say he did not go. Wow, he sure went a long way. But again, the new Atlantic League rules, they do allow a little more leniency on the check swing. The fans are letting him hear it. As the count is now full. Or excuse me, it's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And here's the 2-2. This one is lined into left field. That's a base hit. 1 run comes in to score. They're waving another one around. Here comes the throw to the plate. Oh, he's nailed. Nestor makes the tag. And they get Lombardozzi out at the plate. But Darby Myers scores. It's now 7-1. So now that check swing is looming large as the Rockers thought that they had retired Mazzilli on the previous pitch.
Number 37, Hector Sanchez.
That'll bring up Hector Sanchez. He's 1 for 2 tonight. So Ford is at second. Mazzilli is at first. 2 outs in the 7th. First pitch to Sanchez. That misses for a ball. Isaacs comes set. Here's the 1-0 to Sanchez, and that one a called strike. Rockers' deficit is now 6 here in Game 1 of the series. And Isaacs comes set. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. And the count 1-2 to the Ducks' backstop. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Sanchez to end the inning, but not before a couple more runs score. And the Long Island Ducks extend their lead. It's now 7-1 in favor of the visitors. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's stretch time at BB&T Point. Rockers trail by 6.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys.
This is Keith.
And Katie from Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
When you're done listening to this show, I hope you'll come check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie. A new episode comes out every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Jessica Hammer, co-host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Maddie and I talk about all things pageant related, especially our experiences in the Miss America organization. A new show comes out bi-weekly, every other Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Bottom of the 7th, it's stretch time. Stretch time has just concluded at BB&T Point, and the Long Island Ducks have stretched out their lead. It is now 7-1. Rockers have somebody up in the bullpen. How about this day in baseball history? 1903, Bill Bradley hits for the cycle, picks up 12 total bases for the Cleveland Naps. They take down the Washington Senators in 1903. First pitch to Miles Schroeder is down low for a ball. 1922, Cardinals outfielder and future Hall of Famer Rogers Hornsby hits home runs off of Jesse and Virgil Barnes back-to-back at-bats against the brothers. As that pitch inside, and the count 2-0. At the time, that was his 42nd home run of the year, which set the record for a National League ball player. Schroeder swings, fouls this one off down the third base side, 2-1. 1940, Boston Red Sox first baseman Jimmy Foxx's 500th career home run. Fox eventually, of course, would make the Hall of Fame after a fantastic career with the A's and the Red Sox. As this pitch gets away from the catcher Sanchez, and the count now 3-1. Immaculate inning alert, 1971. Chicago Cubs hurler Milt Pappas, 9 pitches. And he strikes out Philadelphia Phillies' Greg Luzinski, Don Money, and Mike Anderson. Al Kaline, 1974, picks up his 3,000th career hit as Miles Schroeder fouls this one off and the count goes full. And lastly, as they're going to put on Miles Schroeder now, they've gone with the intentional walk with the count full.
The catcher, number 33, John Nestor.
So that'll bring up John Nestor, and the count, or the Rockers have a man on, I should say. Nestor 0 for 2. And the first pitch to Nestor, ball 1. That one just inside, and the count 2-0. Rockers have action up in the bullpen. And here's the 2-0. Actually, the Ducks do now as well. Downs has just stepped off. And here's the 2-0. That misses. 3 balls, no strikes. So here we go. The last one that I wanted to mention, 2004, Trevor Hoffman picks up the save, which allowed him to pass Lee Smith, the all-time saves leader. Of course, Hoffman would hold that distinction until Yankee legend Mariano Rivera would pass him a handful of seasons later. Here's the 3-0 to Nestor, taking all the way, and it's a strike on the inner part of the plate. And the count 3-1. Runner goes. Here's the pitch. Nestor swings, fouls this one off, and the count is full. And Downs deals the 3-2. Nestor pops this one up in the infield. And the first baseman, Washington, will make the catch in foul territory. Schroeder has to go back to first for out number 1.
The shortstop, number 1, Giovanni Alfonso.
That'll bring up Giovanni Alfonso. Alfonso 1 for 2 tonight with a base hit. But Wally Backman is going to the bullpen, and that'll do it for Darren Downs, who ended this one at 104 pitches. So we'll step aside just for a moment as the Long Island Ducks go to the bullpen. Rockers have a man aboard in the bottom of the 7th inning, but they're down 6. They have a lot of work to do. New pitcher coming up for the Ducks. This is High Point Rockers Baseball.
This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Your Life Matters, where we talk about dreaming big and dreaming bold to reach your wildest dreams in both your health and your happiness. A new show comes out every single Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Your Life Matters. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Bryce Burge, host of Your Soccer Passport here on Public House Media. After this episode, come join us on a trip around the soccer world as we discuss club and country every Tuesday. Stamp your soccer passport by subscribing on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your Public House Media podcasts. And thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Liz Colburn, host of the Morning Uplift here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back and check out my show, The Morning Uplift, where we talk about finding your beauty in the journey. A new show comes out twice a month on the 1st and 3rd Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Morning Uplift. Thank you again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
The shortstop, number 1, Giovanni Alfonso.
Giovanni Alfonso will be the new Rockers hitter. The new pitcher is Joe Iorio, who spent a lot of time both in the bullpen and in the rotation, 6-3, 3.09 ERA, 32 appearances this year, 19 of them starts. And the first pitch to Alfonso just missed. No, it's a called strike. Delayed call, and Alfonso seems surprised. Count 0-1. So the runner on first base is Schroeder, 1 out, and the count 0-1. Here's the pitch from Iorio. Up and in as Alfonso has to drop down into the batter's box on his backside to avoid getting hit. And the count 1-1. Following Giovanni Alfonso, as long as they don't hit into a double play, Rockers will go back around to the top of the lineup with Steven Cardullo. And here's the pitch. Alfonso swings, hits this one high in the air to center field, not deep. It's actually curling into right, and the right fielder Myers settles under it, makes the catch for out number 2. That'll bring up Steven Cardullo, 0 for 3 tonight with a pair of strikeouts.
First baseman, number 65, Steven Cardullo.
Well, a rough inning in the third. Put the Ducks up 4-0. Some questionable calls and close calls along the way, but lots of things, both of their making and not of their making, have put the Rockers down 6 in the bottom of the 7th. Here's the pitch, and that's down and away to Cardullo, and the count is 1-0. Michael Russell waits on deck. We should see a new Rockers pitcher next inning. I believe it's a right-hander. And here's the 1-0 pitch, and that's down, 2 balls, no strikes. New pitcher, or the guy in the bullpen for the Rockers, it's Sam Runyon. The Rockers just trying to piece this one together the rest of the way. Here's the 2-0. It's an off-speed pitch in there for a strike to Cardullo. The count 2-1. Well, the good thing about Brownell's start is the fact that he got into the 7th inning, so it wasn't like he got rocked early and the pitch count got way up and they had to go to the bullpen, and the bullpen's exhausted at this point. We'll give you Brownell's line as he's finally had his book been closed. I don't know where I went to school, but that was not good English. Count 3-1 now as that pitch was down low. Brownell's line, 6 1/3, 6 hits, 7 runs, all earned. He walked 8, struck out 2, so control was the big issue for Brownell today. Cardullo swings, lines this one into center field. That's a base hit. And so the Rockers trying to get something going with 2 outs in the 7th as Michael Russell comes up. The final line for Darren Downs, 6 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. So you see the big difference is in control, as there were constant guys on base with the 7 bases on balls permitted by John Brownell. A quick scoring update from the York Sugarland game. Remember that guy, Telvin Nash, who just happens to lead the league in home runs this year? As Russell fouls the first pitch off. Well, he hit a home run in that one, and so it's now 4-0 in favor of the Revolution as they're in the midway point of that game. They're in the bottom of the 5th right now. So York looking to jump up 1-0 in terms of the series lead after tonight's game. Still quite a ways to go in that one, though. And we're not done here either at BB&T Point as Michael Russell fouls this one off, and he's quickly in the hole, 0-2. Line score 7-8-0 for the Ducks, 1-4-0 for the Rockers. Schroeder, the runner at second. Cardullo, the runner at first. And here is the 0-2. Russell swings, lines this one, a base hit into right field. They're waving around Schroeder. Here comes the throw from Myers. It is going to go through, but far too late. It's an RBI base hit from Michael Russell. And the Rockers continue their 7th inning. Cardullo only advances 1 base, but Michael Russell continues his hot hitting against the Long Island Ducks. And here comes Hector Gomez, who is 0 for 2 today. Just missed a home run by a little bit in his last at-bat. Rockers have scored in back-to-back innings now. Their deficit is 5. First pitch to Gomez, down and away, ball 1. You can't get behind a guy like Hector Gomez. He'll make you pay, and Iorio misses again. 2-0 now. You think back to that first inning where the Rockers had the bases loaded and couldn't score, but they have a chance to chip away a little bit more here to Hector Gomez. He takes that fastball. It's a strike, and the count 2-1. Looks like a little stirring in the Long Island bullpen again as the bullpen catcher just got back up. And I believe they've got a left-hander down there. The count 2-1 to Hector Gomez. Cardullo the runner at second. Russell the runner at first. Here's the 2-1. Gomez takes. It is off the plate in the count. 3 balls and a strike. Iorio, 1 bad one away from loading the bases. Correction, it's a right-hander in the bullpen for the Ducks. Quincy Lattimore waits on deck. None of these guys, the guy on deck, the guy at the plate, or the guy in the hole, Richie Schaefer, guys you want to face with people on base. Here's the 3-1, and Gomez taking all the way. That's a fastball strike, and the count is full. Iorio looks in to get the sign from Sanchez. Runners take leads off of their respective bases. A long look in. Now Iorio comes set. Here's the payoff pitch. The 3-2 to Gomez. Swings, lines this one into right field. It's going to get down. Both runners are going to come in and score. Cardullo scores. Russell's around. Hector Gomez is coming around second. He probably could have gone to third, but he holds up there. It's a 2-run double, and we've got a brand new ball game at BB&T Point as the Rockers trail by just 3. It's 7-4 after that 2-run double by Gomez. You hear the fans coming to life at BB&T Point. Michael Russell scored all the way from first. Gomez, the Long Island Ducks were playing Gomez to pull towards left field, and he went the opposite way in a fantastic double. And Wally Backman has seen enough of Joe Iorio, and they're going to go to the bullpen. So we will step aside here for a moment, but the High Point Rockers have brought this place to life in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 7-4. We'll step aside and introduce you to the new pitcher when we come back. This is High Point Rockers Playoff Baseball.
This is Rachel Mullins, host of #NoFilterFriday here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my new show, #NoFilterFriday, where we talk about all of the sexual misconduct allegations swirling around Hollywood. A new show drops every Friday at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of #NoFilterFriday. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Daniel Poppy, host of How to Write Good here on Public House Media. I just want to thank you for listening to the following broadcast brought to you by Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope that you'll come check out my show, How to Write Good, the writing show that is not about writing. A new show of How to Write Good comes out every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of How to Write Good. Again, Thanks for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys,
This is Keith.
and Katie from Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
When you're done listening to this show, I hope you'll come check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie. A new episode comes out every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
New pitcher for the Long Island Ducks is right-hander Miles Smith. 1-1 in the regular season, a 4.50 earned run average, 6 games, 8 innings. Opponents hit just 167 off of him. He struck out 12 hitters in those 8 innings. He will have to deal with Quincy Lattimore. 2 outs in the 7th inning. And Hector Gomez, the runner, at second. The Rockers trail by 3. Quincy Lattimore so good at coming up big in these clutch situations throughout the course of the regular season. He did it time and time again. The Rockers are going to ask him to do it again here tonight. Here's the pitch from Smith. It is a called strike. Wow, looked low. And the count is 0-1. Lattimore looked on almost in disbelief. But you can't argue with the automated ball strike system, as they've got all the technology to make the art of calling balls and strikes as accurate as possible, and had pretty good results with it this year. I've been pretty impressed with it. That one misses the count 1-1. Runner at second base is Gomez. Here's the 1-1 to Lattimore. That's down low, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. As you've got the cleanup hitter for the Rockers in a hitter's count all of a sudden. I guess Sam Runyon's still down there throwing. It's been a long bottom of the 7th. Gomez takes his lead off of second, and Smith comes set at the plate, at the rubber rather, ready to deal to Lattimore. Here's the pitch down and away. 3 balls and a strike. Miles Smith really needs to be careful with what he throws to Lattimore. Richie Schaefer, who finished second in the league in home runs, waits on deck. 14 home runs behind the league leader. Of course, Telvin Nash was in a league of his own this year. Here's the 3-1, up and in, ball 4. And so here comes Richie Schaefer, 0 for 2 today. But he has walked. He also reached base on a strike 3, on the drop strike 3. And he represents the tying run in the 7th inning. So a big-time at-bat for Lattimore. Rockers are 4 for 6 with runners in scoring position. And Smith ready to deliver the first pitch to Schaefer. That's down low, ball 1. Jared Mitchell waits on deck. Rockers were seemingly dead offensively for the first 5 innings of this ball game, but they've scored 4 in the last 2 and potentially not done. Here's the 1-0, and that's way outside. 2 balls, no strike. Sanchez had to jump out to make the catch, and he almost looked like he was in a little discomfort after the motion he took to get to that ball. Gomez at second, Lattimore at first. 2 balls, no strikes to Schaefer. And it's up and in. 3-0 now to Richie Schaefer. Of course, he's the biggest power hitter on this team. I'm interested to see whether or not they will give him the green light Obviously, Richie Schaefer, usually pretty good knowledge of the strike zone, so it'd have to be absolutely perfect for him to offer at it. Here's the 3-0. It is in there for a strike, and the count is 3-1. Smith one bad one away, though, from loading the bases. And here is the 3-1. That's down low, ball 4. And the bases are loaded for Jared Mitchell. Back-to-back walks. Jared Mitchell, the 9th man to come up in the inning. Jared Mitchell does have a grand slam this year. Not sure what's going on here. The home plate umpire just said something. He was talking to Frank Viola. Now he's gone back into towards Wally Backman, said something there. Maybe he's warned both sides about something. I'm not sure. So here comes Jared Mitchell now that everything has been discussed and settled out there. The crowd is standing. Smith deals first pitch to Mitchell. That's down low, ball 1. Tying run is Richie Schaefer over there at first base. Smith struggling to throw strikes. 10 pitches, 2 strikes. So if you're Jared Mitchell here, you don't have to swing at anything. And obviously, a walk will force in a run as there's another pitcher up in the bullpen for the Ducks. Here's the 1-0 to Jared Mitchell. That's down low. 2 balls, no strikes. As the Rockers are so close to getting right back into it. They're down 3. They've already scored 3 in the inning, and Jared Mitchell looking to extend it even further. If you're Mitchell here, I don't think you swing until Smith throws one across. Swings, rips this one foul, though, and it's 2 balls and a strike. He obviously saw one he thought he could do some damage with, and he hit it hard. It was on the ground, but he hit it hard. They are absolutely playing Jared Mitchell to pull, though. Washington, the first baseman, maybe a step off of the first baseline. Bases loaded, 2 balls and a strike to Mitchell with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And that's a called strike at the knees, and the count is 2-2. And the fans are letting home plate umpire Lindy Hall know just what they think about that. Sam Runyon, I believe, still out there in the bullpen for the Rockers. He'll come in the top of the 8th inning. Rockers and their fans would just as well wish that that doesn't happen for a while yet. 2 balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded. Smith comes set. Here is the 2-2 to Jared Mitchell. That's just outside, and the count is full. Well, if you want drama, okay, maybe it's not the 9th inning, but it's late in this ball.